Howdy folks, I'm Brian.
I'm Amber.
Happy Friday. I hope you folks are going to have a great weekend. And here's some Reddit. Our first story is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Paying for a Hotel Room? My friends and I want to spend a week at a resort near the beach. My friend and her boyfriend is bringing his buddy and I'm going along. The plan was for my friend and I to share a hotel room and her boyfriend and work buddy would share another. We've drove there 7 hours and the buddy was flirting with me and I realized that my friend and boyfriend was trying to get us together. I was not into it since he smokes and he smelled of ash. We got to the hotel and my friend and her boyfriend came to me and asked if we could swap rooms so they could stay together. I was not happy since it means that I would have to stay with the buddy whom I don't know at all. He was okay with it, but I wasn't, and asked the front desk if they had an extra room. They did, and it was expensive, but I didn't want to stay with a man that I didn't know anything about. The week was okay, but Buddy was ignoring me the whole time, and probably because of the hotel room stuff. We got back, and he sent me a text saying that I had to pay half his hotel room because he was under the impression that he only had to pay half. I told him that no, he got a whole hotel room, so he should pay for the whole room himself. My friend called me and asked me to pay because Buddy doesn't have a job and he can't afford it. I felt betrayed since it was her and her boyfriend who changed plans and tried to put me in a room with a guy I didn't know. We argued and she hung up mad. OP. No, you're not the jerk in this situation. They were trying to set you up with a strange man. You had no idea who this person was. Like, you don't know this guy. They're the ones who changed the plans, so if anyone has to pay for the extra half of a hotel room, it's them. And for good reason, because they're the ones who swapped rooms. So if they weren't happy with the arrangements and the accommodations, then they should have ended up paying for the extra half a room. Now, the thing is, like, you didn't go whining to them about having to pay for another room. So, yeah, I mean, because they're, again, the ones who changed the plan. So, no, you're not in the wrong here. These people are delusional. I don't know what else to say. You honestly, like, why would they think you would want to stay in a room with a strange man? You know, honestly, I just cannot blame you for that. So, yeah. And one who's hitting on you and flirting with you too. I mean, yeah, it just seems like a recipe for disaster. You don't know this guy. You don't know what he's capable of. And you weren't really into him anyway, so you didn't want to spend a week in a hotel room with him. And I can't blame you. So, yeah. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk. He was under the impression that he only had to pay half. So were you. OP's friend and her boyfriend should be paying for the extra room. What an appalling behavior on their part. Not the jerk. I'd send your ex-friend a bill for your half of the hotel room. Not the jerk. This is insane. Your friend is legit awful and the guy is gross and creepy. It's not okay to try and force someone to sleep in the same room as a stranger because you think that they should hook up. Gross, gross, gross. Consent, anyone? Super proud of you for getting your own room and don't enable this guy by giving him any money whatsoever. Yeah. Our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for telling my friend that he got exactly what he wanted and needs to stop being selfish? I have an old college friend, Nick, a 32-year-old male, and he has a fiancée, Sophie, a 24-year-old female. They've been together for 3 years and Nick has repeatedly suggested an open relationship to which Sophie has refused. Until a few months ago when he said he'd only propose if she would agree to an open relationship. She agreed. I said to him at the time that he was a jerk for it and he said he was just acting in his best interest. Now Nick wanted an open relationship so he could see Anne, a 29-year-old female, a girl we knew from college who he always had a thing for, but she was married from when she was 18 to 26, so he never had a chance till recently. He hasn't had a chance to see her yet because she's been living with her sick mom and they can't afford to rent a hotel room. Now the issue is that Nick showed up at my house last weekend with a suitcase, absolutely livid, and asked to crash on my couch. He said Sophie had gone out to dinner and had adult fun time with a male model and that she was cheating because he hadn't had a chance to see Anna yet and it was unfair for her to see someone so much hotter than Anna. Not that Anna isn't attractive. I basically laughed at him and told him this is exactly what was going to happen and that he was being selfish expecting Sophie not to see anyone or see people less attractive than he is. She's very attractive and I don't know why she's with Nick, to be honest. He went off on me for not being supportive and stormed out and is trying to turn our friends group against me for not supporting him. I've taken a few days to think about it, but I still can't decide. Am I the jerk?
No.
What do you folks think? Amber's vote is on no. You know what my vote is on? No as well. Oh, you guys thought I was going to do a smart response where I was going to say the opposite thing, but I'm getting wily here. I'll keep you guessing. Yeah, no, OP. You're not the jerk in this situation. This is outrageous. I think this is the outrageous story day, so yeah. What is wrong with this guy? He thinks this is cheating because he hasn't had a chance to hook up yet. That wasn't the agreement. The agreement was that he wasn't going to propose to her or marry her until he had an open relationship. He got the open relationship. He just didn't get his desires met, let's so say, in this relationship. So yeah, the guy is a complete moron. Now, what can I say? I mean, maybe that's mean of me to say. Is it mean of me to say? You folks decide. Was I too harsh? So no, OP, you're not a jerk. And this guy is just completely out of it. That's all I can say. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Well, if it isn't the consequences of his own actions. Not the jerk, he asked for it, he got it. Be careful what you wish for because you just might get it. Looks like someone messed around and found out. This is literally the way it goes 90% of the time I've ever experienced a friend in this situation. The jerk partner who wants to cheat with permission and overinflates their chances of being able to do this in their heads. They were the partner who was down with this until they agree, and surprise, surprise, that's unwilling partner that goes out and gets some. Not the jerk, and he sounds like a super bad friend. Yeah, open relationships are fine if both people go into willingly and not as an ultimatum to marriage. She should stay with a male model instead.
My thoughts exactly.
Amber agrees. Not the jerk. Dude didn't want an open relationship. He just wanted permission to cheat. I hope Sophie has realized that the grass is greener on the other side. Our next letter is titled, Am I the jerk for turning my plate around after being served dinner by my mother-in-law? My husband, a 29-year-old male, and I, a 23-year-old female, have been married for a year, but have been together for almost 3 years now. We are currently staying with my in-laws for 2 weeks while our house gets painted. My sister-in-law and her husband and 2 kids are also living with my in-laws as well. Sadly, my mother-in-law doesn't like me very much. She wanted my husband to marry one of her friend's daughters, who was also his ex. But I still tried to be as friendly as possible with her, since she's my husband's mother. I just want to add that we could have stayed at a hotel, but my mother-in-law insisted that my husband stay with them. I was helping my mother-in-law cook dinner. We made a simple dish of salmon and some veggies, and she plated the food and placed them on the dinner table while I was making our dessert. I had made apple crumble beforehand, but it was too sweet for her liking, so she told me to make it again. After we all sat down to eat, I noticed that my plate was oriented The salmon was on the right and the veggies were on the left. For nearly everyone else, this isn't a big deal that wouldn't bother them. But I have a bit of a quirk that my meat and fish should always be on my left and my vegetable and sides should be on my right. It is very hard to explain, but unless I move my food around so that the meat is on the left and everything is on the right, I find it very hard to eat and swallow. To solve this issue, I just turned my plate 180 degrees so that the salmon would be on the left and the veggies on the right. I didn't say anything or make any expression, but my mother-in-law noticed me turning my plate around and started to blow up. She said that moving something that was already set on the table was bad manners, and couldn't believe how rude I was being in her house. I apologized and tried to explain that I just had this thing where one thing needs to be in a certain side, but she interrupted me and went on a tangent saying that this shows how immature I am and that my husband's ex never behaved like this. My husband tried to calm her down, saying that we shouldn't argue while we are having dinner. But then she started complaining about how I couldn't cook while making dinner, and she kept having a problem with how big I cut the vegetables, even though they were perfectly normal sized, and how bad of a wife I was for being able to not do simple things. Throughout the entire meal, she kept complaining. I felt horrible and was pretty much on the verge of tears. My sister-in-law later told me that her kids were more mature than I am, and my husband got annoyed at me and said I ruined dinner for the whole family, and that this whole mess could have been avoided if I had just done nothing. Now I feel horrible for ruining dinner, especially since my husband works a lot and doesn't see his family often. OP? Maybe you shouldn't see this family often either. Just some subtle advice.
Or like ever again.
Or like ever again, as Amber said. No, OP, who made up this weird rule that you can't move anything and it's bad table manners if you do? What? What reality do these people live in? I mean, when I eat at a table, I tend to rotate my plate around to get to the food. Do people not do that? I don't know. Do you rotate your plate of food?
Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes, right? What? You can't rotate a plate of food? It's rude? Then glue the plate down. Or problem solved. Now, this is about the most... What do you folks think? Do you move your plate while eating? I don't know. I think this just was an excuse for the mother-in-law. She was looking for things to pick at. There was no reason for her to do this. And also, like, I mean, I do understand that some people plate food, but, you know, a lot of families will have food in the middle so that you plate your own food. I don't know that. Maybe that's just traditional from my family. But generally, you know, you plate your own food and then that way you can set it up however you want and then you pass the food around. That's how I've always done it. Plating food is kind of foreign to me because I've never had a food plated for me unless, you know, I'm serving food up for Amber and we're working together to make dinner here. And there's two of us, so it's not really, and they're not complicated meals, so it's not like there's that much here. So I don't know. It's odd to me. This seems like a very odd situation that I'm not really familiar with. And it seems like the mother-in-law probably knew about this quirk and she did it on purpose. I don't know. Maybe she didn't. Maybe it was just coincidence, but I think that she's just looking for something to pick at. I don't think OP's the jerk in this situation. I think the mother-in-law is, and everyone else too, including OP's husband. Bizarre. So OP, good luck. Hopefully you don't have to deal with these people for too much longer. Maybe your husband should go and be with a different person. I don't know. Anyhow, take care and good luck. Not the jerk, but your mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and dear husband are. They sound like toxic people. Your husband should have had your back here. Go stay in a hotel for your sanity, if anything. Find a good divorce lawyer as well. You should just go back home. Breathing in paint fumes all night would be less toxic than being around these people. Oh, burn! Not the jerk, your mother-in-law and sister-in-law are looking for any excuse to put you down. It didn't matter if you were perfect. They would have found something. I'm more concerned that your husband didn't have your back 100% while you were being abused by his family. I know you didn't ask for advice, but this sounds like it could be a very troublesome marriage. Husband didn't even back her up 10%. Did he hide his red flags before the wedding? Alright folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all on Monday.
Bye.
And I hope you folks have a great weekend.